I decided to play Pokemon Diamond yet again. It's a favorite of mine, and I had attempted it previously. Now I've only recently gotten into it, and I've only played, not finished, 3 out of the games, and I have beat a total of these gym leaders. Playing these games, I got an idea for a little art challenge, designing Pokemons as humans. It has been done forever, and I wanted to take a stab at it and level up my design skills. Finally get into the rules I set for myself. As I got more into Pokemon, I learned about a self-imposed rule set that was called a Nuzlocke. The typical base rules include catching the first Pokemon you encounter and naming it. Fainting means dying, and running out of Pokemon is game over. I decided to use the concept to decide what Pokemon I will be drawing. Whichever Pokemon I encounter first, per area, will be what I catch, and therefore design. This is a little flexible as I'm also a newbie and just playing for fun, so I wanted to be able to finish the game, and therefore I decided to have no repeat Pokemon and only allow myself one of a kind. The rule I completely disregarded was the one regarding fainting. I knew I was going to be fainting a lot, and I knew this would completely break my game. So to keep the spirit of fun, fainting is just an inconvenience rather than an abysmal restart. And with that out of the way, let's get started. It always comes back to the bathrooms. God L-E-O. Oh, hi Pride! My bestest friend ever. I guess we're looking for red Gyarados, though I have a feeling we won't end up with one. We see the Professor and Lucas for a moment before we're left on our own again, and we're under attack. Now we get to choose our starter Pokemon. I had to think long and hard. This decision will impact the rest of the game. It will affect the whole vision of my design. I chose Piplup. Sorry Clementine, not choosing it this time. Our first battle goes swimmingly and we're able to defeat the attacking Starly. At this point, Lucas returns and takes the remaining Chimchar and the briefcase away. So now we return home. But on the way, we see the Professor, who looks at the Pokemon and runs out before we can explain anything. Back at home, Mommy tells us to go see the Professor in the nearby Sand Gym town, and gives us running shoes so I can run. But for the first couple of areas, the keybind I had for sprint was Z, so using WASD, my thumb had to contort under my palm to reach between A and S to even press it. Oh, it was painful! But enough complaining, it's time to start our journey. We go into the grass and we pound a Starly. We don't have any Pokeballs yet, so we're forced to put it down humanely. With crossed fingers, we make it to the town without further distractions, and we meet Lucas and see Pride is already on his way out. We also meet the Professor, who lets us keep the Piplup, thankfully. Elias. Yes, welcome Elias as our first ever Pokemon. As he is the first, he gets to be our main character and therefore set the vibe for the series. I considered a couple options, making it a subversion of a high school anime thing, or giving them more modern styles that complement their Pokemon designs, but then I got a sweet idea. A Pokemon Royal Court. Anything royal related is immediately endearing to me. As soon as it entered my mind, everything was set. As our little kiddo is part of an evolution line, I decided to start by making his first design a little kiddo, and as he evolves he will get new designs. For the first one, I decided to go with a simplistic OG outfit. A simple blouse, a bow, and a high collar. That was one aspect I really wanted to include because it makes him look a bit more mature, as I imagine he wants to be taken more seriously as he is a young prince. That also goes for the heels, he just wants to be a little bit taller. Personally, I really like his hair, and I think I scored with the little bun that looks like his tail. It's so adorable. Overall, he did need to be simple, so these designs are a bit different to my Genshin designs, where the main point was detail. Here, the simplicity allows me to draw them easier. I decided to make him a lonely prince, which is one of my favorite archetypes ever. Ignore Leo, he's trying to show that I have a pattern of making socially stunted royal characters that have trouble dealing with being placed in positions of responsibility and authority when they're just kids. I don't see the big deal though. But for Elias, after his kingdom of Piplupia was decimated by the Great Starly Army, he was left alone in the palace without his siblings, Chimchar and Turtwig, which were captured by the opposing kingdoms, leaving him the sole heir to the Poké Throne of a broken kingdom. But I believe Elias will be able to get revenge and return his land to the glory it used to have. Long live His Highness Elias. Back in Sanjin Town, I head to the Pokemart and finally get some Pokeballs so I can start drawing His Highness's court. Lucas gives a demonstration of how to catch Pokemon, and we're sent on our way, starting with a trainer battle upon trainer battle, though. Elias sees another Starly, the same Pokemon that took everything away from him, and pounds it in cold blood. Afterwards, we make it to Jubilife City, where we meet a familiar face in Lucas and Pride. Then we see this guy. He says that if we can find 3 clowns around the city and get 3 coupons from them, I can get my own very Poketch. Poketheft watch. And eeny, meeny, miny, gotcha! And I continue ahead, running into the grass, hoping to get through safely, but then we encounter it. A lone Starly soldier left over from the battle. Elias fights him, pounding him into the ground. But something shifts. By killing those who hurt him, is he not as bad as those same people who brought him misery? He lowers his weapon and spares the Starly, and I capture it first try. Elias interrogates the boy, learning that his name is Castor and that he was left behind by his group. I'll be honest, I really hate how Starlies look. I'm sorry to the 16 Starly fans, but there's something so about its design. I did my best to make Castor look as adorable as possible so that I wouldn't dislike him as much as I do the other Starlies. From head to toe, I tried to include the zigzag motif. Wherever I could fit it, it was there. And I gave him a little overcoat to look like the pattern around the Starly's neck. The 2 aspects I really wanted to add in his design are, firstly, the sash around his waist, the orange one representing its beak, and the back one representing its tail. Secondly, I added wings to his head. Now, that might seem odd, but this is a design aspect I'm very loyal to, and I think that if I was going to give them to anyone, it would be the bird Pokemon. His face is so cute in this drawing, it almost made me go back and put him on my team again. Cute privilege, I guess. Castor and Elias's friendship arc is lost media now. I dumbly go into Together, the Pokemon head into a nearby cave, only to be attacked by a mysterious Zubat. She is merciless, playing with Elias's mind, trying to confuse him, but he doesn't give in, allowing me to catch her. Yippee! She is not part of the Great Starly attack, but she is also not from Elias's kingdom. She proclaims herself to be named Nosferatu, a powerful witch who lived in Set Cave. But she does decide to join Elias's party, and they leave the cave. I low-key wasn't paying attention to gender and named her Nosferatu because I was distracted, but that also did inspire her design and her personality. Listen, I do say that I like all of these designs, but Nosferatu is one of my favorites. Making her creepy and witchy while being visually cute was a bit difficult, but the colors did wonders. But let's start with the design aspects. I made the Zubat wings into this little shoulder movement to keep the ooh, scary vibe. I did have her design planned out, but as I was drawing, I completely went off course and gave her a leotard, visually separate her legs and her body. Now this is for a reason. You see the long triangle things over her skirt? They represent the Zubat's legs. By giving her the leotard, I was able to shorten the body and make her silhouette similar to the actual Pokemon. But then I also gave her like a semi-see-through skirt. Her design was a bit too blue otherwise, so that's... Talking about blue, I made her ears downturned to look like hair, and that inspired me to do something silly. Zubat has 4 teeth. And if you look closely, you'll notice that her hair's highlights look like teeth. I love her, I'm sorry. Back into the tall grass they go, and get ambushed. They see a mysterious child before them, who, after fighting, barely escapes the attack into the tall grass. I was absolutely devastated seeing the Budew, as, fun fact, Budew is one of my favorite Pokemon ever. Surprise, it's not even a fairy type. I stared at the screen for a good minute trying to not crash out at this, but in the end, I fought him as the soul left my body. But I had a feeling. Call it a premonition or a prophecy, but I assure you, Cassius will be returning. I even gave him a name. But enough about my adoration for Budew. It was time to find where the hell we were supposed to go. Clearly, the mountain wasn't it, so I backtracked and headed right where I met Pride, who wanted to battle me. This is where Elias is forced to fight another legion of the Starly army, only to find that the one leading them is his brother, Turtwig. Still, he takes them down, forcing the rest to retreat. A little heavier. Why don't we go ahead? Elias and the crew press forward and meet a Bidoof who is foraging for yummy ingredients and is happy to join the crew. His name is Luis. His design is quite simple. I knew he wasn't gonna stay around for long, so I made him just a side character. The name Luis comes from the dog in the Rio movie, and somehow it inspired me to make him a bartender. Don't ask how, I had a vision. With him, I think I challenged myself most, as my characters are typically skinny, twinky male characters, so making a shorter, stubbier adult male character with facial hair, it was something completely different. While difficult, playing with shapes and making the facial hair resemble the Pokemon was so fun and almost inspirational to try again in the future. Ahead, Elias is stunned to see a familiar face in the crowd, but only for a second. Our main cast sees an Abra and they try to befriend it, but it disappears before they can, so they leave confused and crash into a Geodude instead. Oh, how I love Dudette. From the name, I already knew what I wanted to make her. Welcome, Prince Elias's knight, Lady Dudette. I so rarely have buff female characters because I rarely have female or buff characters. I used to have one in Emmy, but if you've been around, you'll know that suddenly, over the course of a year, all my characters got slapped with the Ow! So Dudette is very warmly appreciated. The main thing I wanted to use was the jaw that Geodudes have for her, and I turned that into one of these cool masks. I tried to make armor pieces that are simple, hopefully protective too, and allow for other design elements. And you see, I even gave her a chest plate to protect her big heart. Now, okay, the bow may seem weird, okay? But I promise it's there for a reason. Elias's main color is blue. By having a blue bow, she is showing her loyalty to the prince visually without having to say it out loud. And by having a typically girly bow, it allows her to present a stereotypically feminine item in a more masculine context. It shows that women can present however they want in any way that they want. That's just my little personal reason for adding it, a little art analysis for you. With our knight's protection, Elias, Castor, Nosferatu, Louise, and Dudette make it to the next city. Orangebrush City is a place where we earn our first gym badge, and we find the first kingdom our little Elias will conquer. Now, here we meet another knight, Sir Dude, who is familiar with Dudette and allows them to pass into the castle where they see the gym leader Rorak with High Commander Geodude, who Elias slays with a single swing. He's here for revenge. So when he sees King Onyx, the one who had supported the attack on his kingdom, his fate is sealed. Still, Duke Cranidos tries to protect him and attack our party, but Elias was not having it. All of them. Traitors. The Kingdom of Rock has been dethroned and Elias has gained his first victory over his enemies. The triumph fills him with determination and he evolves into a Prinplup. Now, with him, I had a vision. I noticed that the Pokemon's tail got longer, and that gave me the base idea, the coat, reminiscent of 16th, 17th century French fashion. In combination, I also kept the high collar. I really like that damn collar. And I turned the bow into a tie, like the tie thing kind of Prinplup has. And underneath, I turned his shorts into a whole body thing so that I could add the 4 buttons, and I cut them open to show off some lovely frills. I took out the pawn and let his hair loose, and he gets 2 new yellow hair strands. And overall, I really like this one. It's simple, and I like it. On the way to the next kingdom, Luis stays in a small town, where he follows his dreams of bartending. Castor's injuries are still grave, and he is so weak that he feels unfit to follow our party. So he remains with Luis to rest, bidding Elias farewell and thank you. And that's all for today. I do hope you have enjoyed the episode. I only recently returned to YouTube and it has been a blast. I can only hope you're having fun with me. That's all I can hope to do by making content. But until next time, I have been your host, Leo, and it was a pleasure to have you with me today. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and drop a like. May we have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time, Your Majesty.